This is Rob Thompson's Sports Biz Podcast. We got this is a special moment when you have a young entrepreneur who started the business while at TCU. My man Trent over here, who I'm going to throw over to in a second. But he's got a great story to tell and a great platform, and we're happy to have him on the show. So, Trent, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it, and I'm really excited to tell you my story and how I got to where I am now, and all the things that have led to this point.
I'm just glad you cleaned your room up before we got on the show. It's nice and tidy.
Oh yeah, always.
All right, so I know you talked to me you told me the story before, but so I want you to tell the audience your story, how you came up with the idea, how Book It Sports came to fruition.
Yeah, absolutely. So in May of last semester, actually, I was watching the Toronto Raptors play against the Charlotte Hornets, and I was watching the game with my roommates, and they all, of course, bet on the heavily favored Raptors to win the game. And Jeremy Lamb of the Charlotte Hornets had other plans and hit a full court shot at the buzzer, busting my friend's bets. And a hilarious reaction came along with that from my friends. And I captured the reaction on video. And I was like, where could I post this? Because I know a lot of people feel the same way. That was a crazy shot to win the game, and they were heavily underdogs. And so I was like, I can't put it on Instagram because it doesn't really, I don't have all my followers that are passionate sports bettors, and it's kind of a conflict of interest. Same with my Twitter. And so my friend looks at me and he goes, I've actually made separate Twitter and Instagram accounts specifically to follow and post sports betting content. And that's when it clicked for me. I was like, why is there not a platform specifically for this community? And I saw the opportunity, and, it recently became legal in 2018. And so I was like, if this isn't a thing yet, I've been waiting for something to come up with an idea, and execute on it. And I think that this could really be it. And so I kind of pitched it to my friends, kind of got some validation from them, and they were like, this is a really good idea. I think you should pursue this and execute it. And so I took my last final last semester, and got on a plane to go home. And on that flight home, I just took all my thoughts, my vision, put it onto a PowerPoint, pitched it to my parents, and was like, this is really what I want to do. I came up with this idea, and I know there's a need for it. And they have fully supported me, and have given me the resources, to help me persevere. And it's been awesome. And I would not have traded this experience for anything else, even if it doesn't work out. Great learning experience, but I'm very passionate about it. And I'm very eager to make it the epicenter of, sports gambling engagement and content consumption.
Did you see yourself when you arrived at TCU as a freshman that entrepreneurship and startup was even going to be in your future, or was this something that just came about?
I mean, I've always been coming up with ideas and trying to find a problem and come up with a solution. My passion has always been to become a play-by-play announcer, a sports analyst, be, on air on TV. And, I've kind of totally shifted gears from that to, entrepreneurship. And I've come up with iPhone charging cases, or things that I've thought were good ideas 5 years ago that I didn't act on. And now, look at Mophie, it's a huge company that does iPhone charging cases. And I just kept having this thing happen where I would come up with an idea. And I wouldn't execute on it. And I kept getting discouraged, thinking dang, what if I actually did execute on an idea I had? And, here I am now. And I hope to never look back. So we'll see. Hopefully this is one of many adventures too.
What has inspired you the most, and what have you learned during the process about yourself and just about being, in a startup space?
I mean, what I've learned is that if you really want something so badly, you can really go out and do it no matter what it is. I've never taken a business class. I have no experience in business. I'm not a business major or minor. And I literally I didn't even know what venture capital was 3 months or 6 months ago. And, here I am talking to very influential venture capital firms and influential people in the industry that I had no business talking to, without this business. And it's been amazing, the doors that it's opened up. And I've learned, you just keep grinding. Like, you're going to have bad days, you're going to have good days, but that's all part of the ride, being a early stage startup, and so I just keep telling myself, like, keep moving forward, keep the momentum rolling, get people excited about your product. And, and a big thing I've learned is actually just networking and turning, connections into genuine relationships, because that will go a long way. So I've learned, that's just a few of the hundreds of lessons I have learned from this experience.
So talk about I mean, you do have experience. I mean, from Beyond the Diamond as with the documentary and a PA with Fox Sports and the Dallas Rattlers and NFL Media Group. So for someone who's a senior in college, I mean, you are a senior, correct?
Yeah, correct.
All right. So I didn't know if you're just doing all this in your freshman year still, but you've been killing it. You really you've taken this path now that's kind of led you to this spot. What are the challenges that you have faced? I mean, so content creation is in your wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
Right. Content creation's in your wheelhouse. Now the distribution of it is something that you're jumping on with Book It Sports too. But what are the challenges that you have faced, and how did you overcome those challenges so far?
Absolutely. I mean, it all started, I don't know if you know the story or if I've told you this yet, but the whole Westbrook incident that occurred when I was a sophomore. I got my foot in the door early by reaching out to this Twitter account that blogs for the Thunder, big Thunder fan. And, that was kind of my first initial, like, foot in the door in the sports industry, was writing for this Twitter account. And we got Paul George and Carmelo Anthony. And I was like, can I come to media day? Like, this is awesome. Like, I got to come and cover the event. And they're like, yeah, it's like, you're going to live tweet for us. So, like, I go to the event having no idea what I'm doing or getting into. And, it's a press conference, like every press conference before the season at media day. And Russell Westbrook's at the podium. And I was just like, I got to ask him a question or I'll regret it forever. Like, I got to put myself out there. So I raised my hand to get the mic and totally lost my train of thought, and nothing came out of my mouth at all, just except, some blabber. And next thing you know, it was live broadcasted on NBA TV, was on Bleacher Report and ESPN, had 5 million views on Instagram, with likes from LeBron James and Seth Rogen and all these, big names. And so that was crazy. Sorry, 1 second, my alarm clock just went off. I don't know why it's doing that.
There he goes. You're on the clock. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Oh, that was fantastic.
So sorry. I don't know why it's buzzing right now. But
no worries.
Anyways, so yeah, waking up the next morning, being on ESPN and having them talk about me, that was, life-changing. That was my dream, to actually be on SportsCenter. And here I am as a sophomore in college, and, kind of getting roasted by the media because I screwed up. But little does everybody know that I was just a sophomore at the time, because they didn't show my face. They just, recorded the voice and showed Westbrook laughing. But Westbrook came up to me afterwards and gave me some words of encouragement. And, I really, at that point in time, I really didn't know if this industry was for me. But when Westbrook came up to me and, gave me those nice words, I was like, you know what, this is what I'm meant to do. I got to keep grinding and get back into this room and earn my respect from these athletes. So that's definitely one challenge that I've had to overcome. And it was definitely life-changing. But, I am very grateful for that failure, because it allowed me to grow, as a young student in the sports industry, and, just in maturity in myself too.
Well, I mean, listen, that is just awesome. You know,
Yeah,
just hustling, and you can't be. That's an awesome story. And I haven't heard that one yet, but that's an incredible story, and I can't wait to see that footage. We may have
yeah,
to show it down in Orlando.
yeah, oh yeah. Just Google nervous Westbrook guy, you'll find it.
That's perfect. So let's talk about Book It Sports. Let's talk about the platform.
Yeah, absolutely. So Book It Sports is a sports betting social media platform catered for the sports betting community. And the whole purpose of it is basically like, just think of it as Instagram specifically for, the sports betting community. And same with Twitter, you have the option to post content in the form of photos, videos, texts, or, your live score of what game you picked. You can like take the score from the scores and like make it into a post and embed that into a post. And there's so many different ways to interact with fellow sports bettors on this app. So I'm really excited to launch it and get some users on there. We've got a pretty solid user sign up list that have just shown their early interest. Of I've gotten about almost 2,000 signups already, which is very reassuring to see that there are people interested and there are people excited for its release. So yeah, I'm very excited.
Awesome. And so, Trent, how do people find you, and how do they reach out to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me on LinkedIn, Trent Attyah, or Instagram, Trent Attyah as well, or Twitter is TE Attyah. But definitely reach out to me on LinkedIn. Let's connect. And if you would like to, further discuss or learn more about the app, you can definitely connect with me on LinkedIn, and I'd be happy to hop on a call or email you, whatever it may be.
And I'll link your account as well in the description below, but also I'll pop it up, and I'll put some text up there too on how do they find you on your website. But listen, we're thrilled to have you down in Orlando as part of our accelerator program, and you're going to be down there pitching. I think you're just a rising star. And this is a platform that something's going to come of it. There's no doubt about that. And we're certainly thrilled to have you part of our group down in Orlando. So keep on going, man.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm really excited to be a part of it next month. It's going to be awesome.
Certainly will be. That's Trent over there. I'm Rob. Thanks for watching Sports Biz Radio. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We'll see you again.